Hey, Maven here, and welcome to episode 11 of my advanced modding tutorial series. Today's episode will be continuing on how to work with APIs, as I'm going to continue by showing you how to work with Maven. Maven is a tool that allows you to easily import APIs and code of a mod. And today's mod we are going to implement is Waila. And you'll have to know that Waila has a dependency on NEI to work, so we're also going to import that. Now both NEI and Waila have a Maven repository, fortunately. Some mods have, most don't. If they don't, well, that's sad, but you'll have to resort on another route, and I'll show you that in the next episode. So Maven is a handy tool, so if you can use it, use it. It's really nice. So to work with Maven, you're starting at your build.gradle, but actually we're going to search on the internet to see what info we need, or what info we can get about Waila's and NEI's Maven repository. So I've just simply put in the Google string Waila Maven, and there we go. Professor Mobius has come up with a nice tutorial, or very simple code snippet on how to do it in your build.gradle. Now this is a simple copy paste action. There isn't that much to explain, and to be really honest, I know enough of Gradle to do what I need to do. However, I'm not an expert on it in any way. I barely know how the syntax of the build.gradle works. So if I open the build.gradle of our advanced mod, I can paste it in. And so this is your main repositories in section. And in here you can add all addresses of all Maven addresses you want to add. So this is Professor Mobius' Maven and a name for it. This can be any name. Chicken Bones' Maven and any name really. And that's all to make it work well, to hand Gradle the addresses it needs to get the mods. But you also need to specify which version you want to get. So in your dependencies section, we can copy paste this, and we can put it in here. And actually, let's look, maybe we can use a newer version of Waila. 1.5.10 is a version, and to be really specific, we can do that. Now it says on the Waila guide that you don't need more than this, because it does some magic to get Waila into there, to get NEI in there. However, we're still going to do it manually, because that will allow you to change the version if you need to. I think that would be nice. So I'm copying and pasting this from my pneumatic craft build.gradle, and you'll see these dependencies. I'm not even sure. I think not enough items only depends on code chicken corn or on code chicken lib, but it's nice to have anyway, and I wasn't completely sure if it depended on it or not. So, better safe than sorry, right? So I've done this, and you can see which versions there are available by just going to the link in here. So if you want to make sure that this version you're having right here is the latest, we can just paste it in. You'll see the Maven repository, and we can go to MCP, Mobius, Waila, and you'll see that this basically is the latest version for 1.7.10. There's a 1.8.1 version apparently, but we'll not use that. So you can we were just browsing through the directory. Really, you can see that MSB Mobius Waila, and then this Waila version. Okay, so with this out of the way, I think, well, this is all the build.gradle needs. We just simply need to go to the advanced mod, open the command prompt, and do a Gradle setup decomp workspace, and also reinitialize our Eclipse workspace. So let's do that. It shouldn't take long, like a matter of seconds. So let's do that. And there we go. Oh, wow. Oh, it was logging for a second. I was afraid I would be getting a blue screen. Okay, so we refresh and we look at our reference libraries. You'll note that there is a Code Chicken Core, not enough items, Waila, and there should be a Code Chicken lib somewhere as well. There we go. And we can just look at the source. There we go. Whatever we want. And we can also run it, and you'll notice that all those mods will be in our instance. So this is really very nice, especially for NEI. It's always nice to have that mod. It's not an easy way to switch between survival and creative, so it's a really nice development tool, as well as a nice mod to have in your instance. So, yeah, there we go. We see a NEI panel, and NEI items, and our NEI other things, and also our Waila at the top. So, say we've got this Camo mine, and we want to show which player has access to it, or which player it's targeting at, or maybe you want to actually hide the Camo mine, so when we camouflage it to, for example, stone, we did do something like this, didn't we? What's happening here? Did I break it? I'll figure it out. Anyway, what our goal is quite simple. We can set up the Camo mine to not show up as a Camo mine, but instead as the camouflage block. And we probably can do a lot more. So, be right back. Well, maybe it has to do with the fact that I've blacklisted stone in our last episode. I'm a derp. So, to implement Waila, let's create a new class. And we're going to put that class in a new package called third party, as in third party content. We're going to put it in the Waila section, well, in case we add more third party content related to other mods. Now let's just call it Waila. Now, Waila has a callback, callback system, and the way it works is you specify a public static void method, and you can call it any name, on call or on Waila call. You need to give it one argument, being Waila registrar. There we go. And this interface isn't part of Minecraft itself or our own mod. This class is part of one of the libraries we added, which is Waila. So you'll notice that this is one of the examples why you would need the source of another mod in your environment to make it work. you need to be able to reference it. So with this, it won't be called magically, so we'll have to do that. And we can do that using something something I showed last episode, which is IMC. So we can do fml inter mod comes send message, and we're going to give it Waila, which is the mod ID of Waila, and we're going to give it register. We're going to say to Waila we want to register our mod, and then we need to give it the full path to the method. That's including all package names. So this method is in com MindMartin advanced mod third party Waila, and then on Waila call. So we can just copy it over from here. It's in there, in the Waila class, and then on Waila call. And that should do it. So when Waila is installed, it will receive this message and then will call this method. And in here, if you look, Waila supplies us with an instance of this interface. And you'll see there is a lot you can register at Waila, and one of the things is a register stack provider. So we're going to do that. And we're going to give it a register stack provider. There we go. And we're going to call it a new Waila Camo handler. And then you need to give it the block you want to change the stack of, which is going to retrieve it basically. So the block is a block camo mine.class. That's the block we want to adjust when a player hovers over the block. And we still need to create the class. And we're going to put it there, which is fine. And there we go. We get a default implementation. So this is the actual method we want to adjust, and these are generated along with it because they're part of iWaila data provider. And those come in use later when you want to add a custom Waila string to the tooltip. But we're not going to do that right now. So if you look at the documentation for it, usually APIs are documented well, so that's why we can see this. Callback used, and you're supposed to always return the modified input current to tip. So let's do that. Personally, as a side note, I'm not really a fan of this kind of thing, this API, because it has a lot of methods you have to implement even though you're not using them. And if you're doing object-oriented programming, you don't even need to return this tooltip to access it, like you can see when, well, yeah, I'll not go into that deeper, but yeah, I'm not really a fan of that, and that's also another reason why I'm going to show you another API next time. So by default you're returning null, but instead we're going to return a custom item stack. Let's just, for example, return a new item stack blocks.stone, just to see if it works. And this should work already. We lock in. And if this works, we've proven that this part works and also that this code works. So, let's see. And there we go. When we look at our Waila tooltip, it shows like it's just stone, even though it isn't. Nice. Now we should make this side dependent and depending on the camouflage. So when we look at this side, it shows as dirt, even though when we do it on this side, it shows as grass and etc. Wood. Okay, so let's try to do that. Well, we can achieve this by using the information that's supplied to us. We've got a Waila data accessor, which has a lot of things it supplies, like the site you're looking at and the entity. So we can do a lot with that. And if we look at our own block, we can see get icon. We're going to, there we go, we get the camouflage from a site, so we can simply just copy this over, really. Well, for the most part. So tile entity te equals accessor get entity. Entity camo mine. Are we going to say int? Does it want a... yeah, it was an integer side. So we say side equals accessor get side ordinal. So that's converting from a forward direction to a, well, basically a vanilla side. Forward direction is an enum which goes from down, up, north, south, east, west and east, and the vanilla directions just go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But they're mapped the same, so we can simply just look at the ordinal, the index of the enum. So if stack is null, well, we can do return. When it's not a valid camouflage, we can do return new item stack mod blocks camo mine, and we're not going to return this. And instead we can just return stack in here. And this should do it, really. So let's see what happens. There we go! Haha, nice. From this side that looks like a camo mine. If we look at the top, it shows it as wood and dirt and grass. That's nice. Even though it's still mine. So let's see what we can do as well. I really want to show you how to work with the way Waila synchronizes data, and even though I don't think you really want to do this with a camouflage mine, because we just nicely hidden well, make this mine blend in with the environment by showing it, making it show up as dirt. But actually, I want to add a extra tooltip to it, which shows you which player it's starting and whether it's primed or not. Maybe how many ticks are left until it's primed. So we really don't want to do that, but I'm going to do that because it gives you it shows you how to synchronize. You'll see what I mean in a second. So we're going to have to register this information. Let's do that. We're going to give it another new Waila camo handler, whatever. And we're going to give it the block camo mine.class again. Now it will require a restart before this will take any effect, so let's just close Minecraft. And in here we can add our information, so you can just do a current... Oh, we can already start Minecraft in advance. You can just do current tip.add blah blah test. Now if you now look at a Camo mine, you'll notice that it will have this extra text on it. Blah blah test. So we can just add custom info to that. We can do... we can get the entity and we can do te dot... What have we got here? These are all private, but we can do get target, for example. Oh, get timer we also have. String target equals te get target. And when the target isn't there, yeah, it's just an empty string. So we can do if the target is not equal to nothing, we can add that. So we can do current tip add and say target and add that target to there. Let's see if that will work out well. Probably not. Well, it kind of does, really. So we target mine Martin, we can do that. There we go, it says target mine Martin. However, I think when we relog, it will cause an issue. Yes, there you go. A sync issue. So, the reason for this is that the target is only set at the server. And the server needs to know of this target, which is fine. But as soon as Waila comes in, Waila is purely client-side. So we need to connect the dots, really, and we can do that with custom packets and all, but Waila has a built-in way to do this, to handle this. And it has this get MT data method you can use. And this, well, basically what Waila does is as soon as the player hovers with its mouse over the block, it will will invoke this method and it will send this data to the client so it can synchronize and show you the correct information. And that's exactly what we're going to do. For this to happen though, you need to register something again, which also means we're going to restart Minecraft again. And you can register MBT provider, new Waila Camo handler. Oh, there you go. And now we can actually use this. Now this method actually will be called. And we can simply do that. And tunnel. And we can do tag.set string target. This is, you can just do it however you want. I'm just going to do target and do a tile.get target. And you can then get this MBT data out of this Waila data accessor from this get MBT data. So that's on the client side, but the receiving side. So this MBT tag compound will be synced when you add something to it. And instead of doing t.getTarget, we're going to remove this and do a accessor get MBT data, get string, target. And we're going to start Minecraft, and it should work. Well, let's see if I'm right in that. And we can do this with everything as well. We can do tag.set integer timer and do a tile.get timer. Sorry for the coughing, by the way. And we could do if actually let's put this in a variable empty tag compound tag equals stat, and we're going to access it right here, which is a little bit shorter. And get integer. And when we get this timer, how did we do that? If it equals 0, it's primed. So if it equals 0, whoops. That looks weird, by the way. Yeah, no, it doesn't anymore. And also we can do current tip priming in, and we can add the timer. I think you should be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm getting the timer from the utility on the server side. We're sending that on to the client side. The client will get it right here. It checks the timer value. When it's equal to 0, that means the Camo mine's primed. So we're adding the tooltip primed. And when it's not primed yet, but it's counting down, we're saying it's priming in that amount of ticks. Let's save it and see if that happens. Well, if that will work. Now, I didn't really respect any localization here, but we can do that later. So it says it's primed right now. I can reset it, and it still says priming in -1. But now it does show it's priming in a certain time. And also, if we do something like that, it will say target equals that. And if we relog, it still should work. It didn't a minute ago, but it does right now. So that's really nice. So that's really how you should do it. You can make it as nice looking as you want. You could light it up nicely so that all things are lined up under each other, and you can give it a color. I can show you how to do colors. For example, if you want to give the target name a certain color, you can do enum chat formatting dot aqua or green. I do that, and there we go. It looks differently. So, how Minecraft color system works is when you've got a certain string. You can do something like this is a text, and if you in front of that text add a paragraph sign, I can't get it from here, but let's Google it. Is it called a paragraph character? I can get it from the Metacross source. there you go, paragraph, character, and then a certain thing. So when we do that, every single character after that will have the color specified by the number behind here. So paragraph, character, and then a certain number from 0 through 9 and from A to F, I think. And you can look those up by doing Minecraft color format, I believe. Yeah, formatting codes. And you get them right here. But if you're doing it in code, so this table is really nice if you're doing language files, like I just showed you in the Minecraft source. However, if you're doing it in code, you can just do enum chat formatting dot something. So green is A and red is C. So if we see red indeed equals C. So that's a nice shortcut right there. So you can make it look however you want, and instead of target you really should do something like we did in our GUIs, which is atn.format, and do something like Waila, or something like advanced not Waila.target. Let's do that instead, just to do it in a nice way. Let's copy that over, go into our language file. Source main resources, assets, advanced mod language, and do that in here. I do and do target, and maybe do a Waila.camo mine, because targets might be a little bit too vague or generic. Let's copy it over, and it won't be updated, but we need to refresh our resources because we edited the language file, and now it should work still. And we can do those for these as well, but I'll do those off camera after. Well, we can do it right now while we're waiting. And it needs a space in between. Whoop-de-doop. Yeah, you get the gist, right? Timer equals -1. You can do something like that. Was a special case where the Camo mine wasn't primed, but also wasn't priming. Not primed. Oh, whoops. Priming in there you go, that should work. Oops, I'm there. And that's everything localized as we should do. I didn't localize it straight away because I first wanted to, well, to give you an overview and show you how to do some things, and then finish it up like in a neat way. And there we go. Oh, almost. Right. There you go. That's more like it. And now when we do this, it will show you the show has not primed. Right. There we go. Nice. Okay, I think that's it for Waila, really. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. See you all next time when we're diving into more on how to implement APIs. Different mod that time and no Maven that time. So, see you all then. Thank you all for watching and bye bye.